Hey guys, Theoden here. Today I thought we'd take some time to kind of look at some of the new raid instances that are coming out with MoP as we're getting a little bit closer and closer, and I'm starting with the Mogu'shan Vaults. So let's go ahead and jump right in and get started with some of the background information. The Mogu is a new race that is being introduced with the Mists of Pandaria, and they're supposedly an evil ogre-like race. And their original leader was the Thunder King, and he basically got to his position of power as the Thunder King through the quote-unquote Mogu Way, which is basically offing people one at a time until he eventually got to be their, most powerful leader. It turns out, in the end, the reason he was able to do that was through use of an ancient artifact, which provided him some sort of unknown power. And so we're kind of going through the vaults to try to discover why, or what is the source of this power, what is the ancient artifact. So in its current state, the Mogu'shan Vaults, the Thunder King is long since dead, he's gone. The Mogu Empire is shattered, isolated throughout, Pandaria. And the vault is now under assault by various factions, namely us and the Zandalari trolls. So they're also trying to get in there to try to claim this source of power to help their race. We've joined forces with a Pandaran lore master in order to help us understand the Mogu'shan Vaults and to know the ins and outs of how to get in and out of there. Alright, so in terms of what's in store for us in the dungeon, Scott Mercer said it's going to be sort of a Tomb Raider sort of experience, so I'm thinking, musty old dungeon, but with still lots of stuff to explore. There's mystical defenders, specifically the giant Quillen, which are the lion-like mystical creatures. Interesting side note, Quillen in Korean is pronounced Kirin, and the Japanese company Kirin that makes the beer named their beer after a Quillen, and there's a picture of what a Quillen would look like according to that company. Celestial Dragon, there's also Elegon, the Celestial Dragon in this instance. We'll talk about him more later. And they're spirits of Mogu'shan kings from ages past. Scott Mercer also mentioned that there would be some sort of quote-unquote Titanic influence in the defenses of the Mogu'shan Vaults. So that means we're either going to run into an iceberg, or there will be some sort of staged, compartmentalized defense system. So we'll see about that. Alright, there's 6 bosses total in the instance. There's the Stone Guard, Feng the Accursed or Accursed, Garajal the Spiritbinder, the Spirit Kings, Elegon, and the Will of the Emperor. We're just going to do a quick overview of each one. We're going to start with Stone Guard. This is your first boss. It's a council fight. It is composed of the mystical lions, the Quillen. And, I'm thinking it's going to be sort of like the Blackwing Descent Council at the beginning. You only get 3 of them in regular mode. I think you get all 4 in heroic. Second boss is Feng the Accursed, or Accursed. It was cursed by the Mogu ruler for theft after years of dedicated service, but in theory, he might have been actually framed, and he might have not actually done it, so that kind of sucks for him. But he's been wandering the halls ever since. I'm not really sure why we want to kill him for that, but maybe he just wants to kill us, and it's self-defense, so we'll see. Third boss, Garajal the Spiritbinder. Now this one actually makes sense. This is the leader of the trolls that are also assaulting the Mogu'shan Vaults, to try to get the ancient artifact. So we're competing with them in order to try to get to the end of the instance first and actually claim that source of power. So we obviously have to take him out in order to accomplish our goal. Fourth boss in the Mogu'shan Vaults is the Spirit Kings, and this is quite literally the spirits of 4 ancient Mogu kings. Xian, Meng, Kang, and Sebatai. They all have different abilities, but what's kind of interesting about this fight, I'm not going to go into detail, but each one has their own abilities, and depending on which one you kill first, the other remaining 3 will gain all of his abilities, and then when you kill another one, the remaining 2 will get all the abilities. So the abilities will get stacked more and more on each person as you progress through the fight. And there's also a kind of an interesting thing here for, I think it's called like elite gear or something like that, where if you kill them in a more difficult order, you'll get better gear. So I think that's going to be really interesting because all the hardcore guilds are going to be trying to kill this in, the hardest difficulty, in the most difficult, complex way in order to get the best gear. The next boss is Elegon, which is the Celestial Dragon, as I mentioned earlier. We don't really know why it's here, so I just ripped a quote out of Wowpedia, giving them credit here for that. But this explains basically why we're there. It says, dedicated to the advancement of their empire, the Mogu salvaged and repurposed Titan technology to generate untold power in the depths of this ancient complex. Why these energies have been focused into the cold will of Celestial Dragon is a mystery that lies at the very heart of the vaults. So in theory, we'll find out at the very end why Elegon's actually here, but the fight looks really awesome, the mechanics look really great, so I'm looking forward to that. The next boss is Will of the Emperor, and this is the final boss of the instance. As opposed to actually just being like one big guy that you're fighting and, you know, he has several phases, it's actually an army of terracotta warriors that are coming at you in waves. And so this actually is where I kind of was seeing maybe that's what Scott Mercer was talking about with the Titanic influence. Maybe it's like waves and waves and waves of the terracotta warriors. Presumably these are the guardians of the ancient artifact, or the key source of power at the end of the Mogu'shan Vaults. But, you know, that'll be determined, I guess, once we finally down it and see what's behind, you know, the army here. I'm thinking since there's 2 other raids this tier, probably they're going to string us along. Gives that kind of carrot at the end of the stick there, moving along to the end. But, yeah, that's about it. Quick overview of the Mogu'shan Vaults. If you have any questions, leave me a comment. I'll try to get back to you. As always, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And hopefully I'll have some new videos out for the other raid instances soon. Thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate it.